What's up, YouTube? What's up, Extreme Gains family? I'm Chuck. This is Extreme Gains. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Monday, September 5th, 2022, and this is my Amc Gme and SPY Algo Exposed weekly update and preparation video for tomorrow and beyond. I did a live stream early this morning, and I was going to clip that and put a short version update and prep video out for those of you that were unable to attend, because I reviewed it and it was quite long, and it's given me more problems than I knew it would take me to go ahead and just put a short version of this out today. So here is the short version, like always, of the update and prep video. Today is Labor Day. Markets are closed today. They reopen tomorrow bright and early, so we'll be back at it tomorrow morning. All right, as always, I hope you all had a great day in the market on Friday, and I hope you're all able to take advantage of the volatility and make some extreme gains for yourselves. I'm going over all my regulars like always, my snake algo method for all three tickers and some macro comparatives. So with everything said, and it was a mouthful, let's dig in. All right, real quick, my extreme gains for the day on Friday were kind of bonkers. On the 7 tickers that I set up every single day, they provided 10 entries from trigger, the highest ROI being 230%. The next one down was 175%. Then I had an 80, 275s, a 70, a 65, a 40, a 30, and a 20. And then on top of that, I did 3 interactive live tutorials on a setup that I like to play, the W formation with the neckline break to the upside. All 3 of them netted a positive trade in the amount of 60%, 30%, and 25% as an added bonus. Friday was an out of bounds day for myself. I know the Extreme Gains Premium and General Discord members had a hell of a day as well. Congrats to all of you, and I hope all of you out here in our extended family were able to do something similar and make some extreme gains for yourselves. All right, real quick as well, I threw this up as a tweet on Friday. This is my micro intraday snake on both AMC on the left, SPY on the right for Friday. SPY was one piece, absolutely out of the park, killed it right from the gate, and all of Friday's price fulfillment of that snake was almost dead on, so a super day from that perspective there. AMC likewise was pretty darn accurate. It had one little mirroring that happened here at the end of the day, but I had a counter snake in there for that mirroring, and it ended up following it instead of the one piece that it had previously followed throughout the day. But nonetheless, both of them did their jobs accordingly, and I'm super proud of all of that as well. All right, now moving on to the intra-week snakes and the macro comparatives. Currently on your screen is AMC and my current intra-week snakes. AMC finished the day on Friday up 3.50%, and then down in after hours 1.46%, ending the week trading at $8.75. The current intra-week snake on your screen, this is a mirroring of the original placement of the previous day prior to intra-week snake. We had a downside divergence that I had projected potentially would look like a mirrored placement of that, and that is exactly what we got as fulfillment. I did before and afters throughout all of last week. Go check that out. I want to be quick in this video. I've been sitting here working all day on Labor Day, so I want to be quick in this video. So if you want to see the side-by-sides of all of the fulfillment of that throughout last week, go check out last week's update and prep videos. Those of you that have been here faithfully, all 1,000 of you that have been here faithfully on every video, saw that throughout the week as well last week. So here is the fulfillment of the mirrored position of that intra-week snake, and you can see what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. I talked about breakdown and breakout level. Breakdown level 830, breakout level confirmation breakout level 925. So 925 breakout to the upside, 830 to the downside. So what I'm going to be looking at from a macro confirmation of movement moving forward regarding AMC. Moving on to the macro comparative. As you are aware of, I have been using the double bottom 2 doors back here. Right here, I had used it previously for the previous 5 months of price action. It projected, price action fulfilled it, and we tracked it, as most of you know. I'm using that again in the flipped position, likewise, as most of you know. Since its placement, it has continued to fulfill to the downside, and then the initial bounce off of the macro ascending level of support there in blue. And as soon as it bounced, it actually mirrored the the projected bounce. And as soon as it did that, it triggered me to think that this could be potentially mirroring itself. So I brought in a replication of that in the mirrored position. And since the placement of it last week, we have continued to fulfill that mirrored position of the macro comparative almost candle for candle. You can see the previous fulfillment of it all of last week and what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. Obviously, if we are to converge back to the upside with the straight up position, then it would take that move and then that breach of the 925 macro confirmation level to the upside. A breakdown and confirmation of continuation fulfillment of mirrored to the downside would be the 830. That is why they are in there. So that is everything that I'm looking at with AMC moving into tomorrow and beyond. Up next is GME. GME finished the day on Friday down 0.98%, and then in after hours up 0.15%, ending the week trading at 27.40. The current intra-week snake is the blue that's on here in the mirrored position, previously in the straight up position fulfilled, as you can see down here, the replication of that in the mirrored position. So we had a pivot point that I had talked about leading into that prior to the fulfillment of it, and talked about it potentially pivoting and mirroring itself to the downside, as we have now seen over the last 2 weeks of projection and fulfillment. So you can see in the placement that previous fulfillment and what the projection would be from this current intra-week snake moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Then the macro comparative. I have been using the previous double bottom right next door here, similar to AMC. I have used it throughout the last 5 months, just like AMC, for projection and fulfillment purposes, and it has fulfilled rather well. It's been used in both the straight up and the mirrored position throughout that entire 5 months. The current position of that macro comparative is right here. You can see the fulfillment of that in its entirety, almost candle for candle last week, throughout the entire week. As a matter of fact, the last 2 weeks since the diversion to the downside and the breach of the macro ascending level of support. You can see what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. And that is everything I have for GME. Last but not least is SPY. SPY finished the day on Friday, regular trading hours, down 1.05%, and then up in after hours 0.16%, ending the week trading at 392.85. The current intra-week snakes are this green, day of the previous divergence, and the red here, the day prior to the previous divergence. Here is the day of divergence and the placement of that snake, showing all of the previous fulfillment and where we are currently at within that. Obviously, this is coming down to a bounce off of the ascending level of support here, the blue line, the macro ascending level of support, and then a move back upside and a convergence back with it for continued fulfillment to the upside, or potentially identifying as a pivot point like we had talked about in previous videos last week, and a potential mirroring of this intra-week snake for a continuation to the downside in this placement there. So you can see, obviously, in the straight up position, the projection going into tomorrow and beyond is that bounce back upside. And in the mirrored position right here is the fulfillment since the mirroring. And now you can see what the projection would be moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if it were to continue to fulfill itself in the mirrored position. I tripped up on that one there for a second. All right, the next one up is the day prior to the previous divergence. And in its, there's two different positions. One is the full overlapped, meaning I overlap the top up here on that 428, 430 top that we put in, or head that we put in this Head and Shoulders. And in that placement, you can see the continued fulfillment throughout and where we're currently at right now, and what the projection is moving forward into tomorrow and beyond from it if price action were to continue to fulfill it in this position. The secondary little position is just a shift of this, and it's shifting it down here like this. And what that is doing is essentially, if you remember when we started reviewing this and tracking this in the straight up position, it was placed right here at the top, and we got this initial fulfillment, and then price action mirrored to the downside. That is assuming that that was the right thing, and then placing this in the mirrored position. Since that mirroring in that position, a little bit different, but nonetheless the same moving forward. But it does show an initial move to the downside to the macro reverse third that I have laid in here, then the W formation and fulfillment, and then the continuation to upside from there. So it does show an initial breach of the macro ascending level of support. So that's the difference between the two positions of that and what I am looking for and looking at from an intra-week snake perspective on SPY. The macro comparative, as you know, is from the 08-09 correction and crash. Let me pull that down. And in the most recent position that we have been tracking, here is the bird's eye view of it with a rough placement and where we are within that placement of that macro comparative currently. We talked about this and identified this as a Head and Shoulders, and then the retest and the rejection and release back to downside and the continued fulfillment of it. This is the only place roughly in the location that we are in, comparatively speaking to the macro comparative, that I see a bounce and a retest move, and I would put that there. If that rejection and release on Friday was this releasing out of here a little bit early, then obviously we're looking at a breakdown level. And then if not, we can look at a potential breakout level for the intra-week snakes to the upside, which I'll go over here in a second. But you can see the continued fulfillment of the macro comparative in this position and what the projection is from it without getting too granular moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. Like I said, with a breakdown and breakout level, just from a technical perspective alone, AMC is sitting right here on this now confirmed macro ascending level of support. To my box top people, we had our previous box top that we projected dead on with this confluence of resistance up here around the 433 level when we got that hit and rejection back downside with the Head and Shoulders. We had the neckline of the Head and Shoulders break to the downside, and we've now confirmed that macro ascending level of support with the bounce that we got on Thursday. So we are looking for that to potentially hold up, provide a W formation fulfillment here. We did get a hit on Friday with that move up directly on the lower macro third here. As I had placed, I had a neckline level set in here to the upside that also formed that confluence of resistance, and it performed perfectly and provided that level of resistance and rejection back downside. So if we get the fulfillment and the bounce back upside, the neckline level that I am looking at for a breakout level on SPY to the upside for a macro confirmation will be around 401.15. However, if price action were to either continue releasing to the downside and breach the previous macro double-double over here, its upside neckline was right here. If it were to breach the macro ascending level of support and then that to the downside, that is essentially my breakdown level for a macro confirmation for a continuation to downside fulfillment. the neckline I had in at 389.53. However, you can see where previous support was found on the way down at 390.08. So somewhere between those two levels, if I wanted to be super conservative, I would go around 388 to the downside. However, I'll probably use the previous macro neckline at 389.50 and use that as my breakdown confirmation level. So 389.50 to the downside, 401.15 to the upside are my significant levels of support and resistance that I will be paying attention to moving forward into tomorrow and beyond regarding SPY. That is everything I have for AMC GME and SPY that I'm looking at going into tomorrow and beyond, and that's everything I have for this video. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much. Don't forget to smash the like button. Let me know in the comments how y'all did on Friday, or I guess how you did or how you've enjoyed your Labor Day weekend. I forgot to say that at the beginning of the video. I think I did. Happy Labor Day to everybody. I hope y'all are enjoying the extended weekend and getting some time for some R&R or whatever it is that you like to do on the weekend. So shout out in the comments. Let me know how everything's going, and I will get an update and prep video out tomorrow after market close. And then as a reminder, I will be live here on the YouTube channel and on the Twitch channel on Wednesday morning starting at 9 a.m. from 9 a.m. Eastern till market close. So mark that down. Make sure to come by, and I will talk to you all on the next one tomorrow night. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Good luck in the market tomorrow. Make some extreme gains for yourselves, and I'll talk to you all then. Later.